This video is sponsored by Rijksmuseum. Stick around after the episode to hear about their YouTube show, Is This Art?
Greetings and welcome to Earthling Cinema. I am your host, Garyx Wormuloid. This week's artifact is Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, written by and starring Mike Myers. The film tells the story of Austin Powers, a British spy from '67 who likes to 69. Unfortunately, his frenemy Dr. Evil likes to 86 innocent people. He hightails it to the future in a Teslacle, forcing Austin to sleep in the government freezer aisle. When Dr. Evil demands that the UN pay for his son's therapy,
$100 billion!
Austin partners with Vanessa, who may or may not be his daughter.
Mrs. Kensington.
Austin, Mrs. Kensington has long since retired. Ms. Kensington is her daughter.
Let's just hope these two don't hook up, without filming it. They search for clues in Earth's casino district, where Vanessa tells Austin she won't recreationally mate with him,
I will never have sex with you, ever.
even if he gets an old man to sing for her on a bus. Unable to get to Plowtown, Austin allows a robe model to sex him in exchange for some doodles. Vanessa gets mad at Austin for actually doing detective work, but Austin cools her soup by explaining the robe model was just a piece of exercise equipment.
She's the village bicycle. Everyone's had a ride.
Afraid of emotional intimacy with Austin,
Austin Powers is getting too close.
Dr. Evil arms himself with some very kinky sex toys that are on sale now. Just use offer code GaryxHappyFunTime. Then Austin, I ship it, stop to play dress up, then head to Dr. Evil's dining room, where he unveils his plan to give Earth a colonoscopy until it explodes. Austin and Vanessa check out his indoor pool house, while he gives his son the talk.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you?
After turning on Dr. Evil's jacuzzi, Austin breaks his sex toys with his butt flaps, but fortunately, each comes with a lifetime warranty. Again, that's offer code GaryxHappyFunTime. This content is not free. After a quick ad for the NRA, Austin aborts the bomb late in its third trimester. Number 2 liquidates the company, Dr. Evil liquidates number 2, and Austin escapes, landing right on his lungs. The two go off to honeymoon, when they should really think about taking a paternity test. Austin Powers tips its cap to Saturday Night Live, the long-running sketch comedy show on TV. Myers weaves in comedic stylings from his time on the show, such as cloning himself, celebrity cameos, and gags about male genitalia, aka dick jokes, aka dong ticklers. Indeed, the character Dr. Evil was born from an impression of Lorne Michaels, who was born, presumably, from his mother. The movie parodies a host of spy film tropes, in particular those found in James Bond movies. Dr. Evil stands in for Dr. No, DDS. Random Task is Odd Job from Goldfinger. And A Lot of Vagina is a play on Pussy Galore. A very clever play. Often these references poke fun at the silly plot devices used by Blonde films to ratchet up the stakes and burger meat. The cliché pond of vicious piranhas becomes a pool of ill-tempered, albeit omega-3 rich, sea bass.
They are mutated sea bass.
The classic slow-moving dip into the tank becomes comically prolonged.
All right, guard, begin the unnecessarily slow-moving dipping mechanism.
And the tendency of villains to give their captives alone time is trotted out for ridicule as well.
I'm going to leave them alone and not actually witness them dying. I'm just going to assume it all went to plan. What?
But perhaps the favorite target of the film is the 007 archetype, followed in close second by ascots. Featuring a rotating cast of super hot men and Timothy Dalton, James Blondes became known for their irresistible charm and impressive body count of sex partners.
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Austin himself is a totally gross caricature of this, from his forest of chest pubes to his over-the-top pick-me-up lines.
Do I make you horny, baby? Yeah, do I?
Works every time I play this movie. On one hand, the film seems to subvert the classic character, snickering at the size of his crotch nose and whatever these are. On the other hand, this effect is blunted because he's still able to score just like the character that inspired him, Michael Jordan. I mean, James Blonde. I mean, Al Roker? It's been a day. Much of the film's humor comes from the idea of a 60s dinosaur forced to adapt to the 90s, which famously had no dinosaurs.
Only sailors use condoms, baby.
Not in the 90s, Austin.
This same technique is used to lampoon the prototypical villain, who is simply a bad guy with no dimension, no serious motivation, and no hair. Dr. Evil's name implies his basic bitch aspirations, and that his nephew is Evel Knievel. By placing the character in serious modern situations, such as group therapy and environmental regulation,
They were put on the endangered species list.
the film points out just how little was going on behind the skull curtains of these early Blonde villains. Ironically, this recontextualization happens to the film itself, just as it happens to any art that stands the test of time and winds up in the $4.99 bin at Walmart. The film's design and costumes, ported over from the 60s, exemplify this, as does Austin Powers' theme song, the 1962 Quincy Jones number Soul Bossa Nova. Not to be confused with the 2062 Supernova, which melted Neptune. Thawed out in a bowl of sriracha, an audience of a different time gets to listen to it with fresh ears and decide if it still rules, which it does. Similarly, the film must run the cultural gauntlet as new audiences are invited to consider its jokes, catchphrases, and use of velvet in the context of modern mores. Is seduction inherently part of a secret agent's job? Do lady spies need to wear catsuits? Are all sociopaths bald? Clearly not. For Earthling Cinema, I'm Garyx Wormuloid. Oh, beehive!
Hey guys, Garyx's intern Emily here. You've probably heard us talk about the Rijksmuseum before. Well, we're still big fans. Their show Is This Art is going strong on their YouTube channel, Rijkstube. The show examines modern cultural phenomena through the lens of classic art. Their recent episode examines how 21st century rap relates to a group of artists in the 1940s. And today, they'll be dropping an episode on food photography. While eating food may be obscene in Garyx's culture, learning about it is totally okay. As fellow conservators of Earth's culture, we love that the Rijksmuseum is interpreting cultural and artistic movements in unique and interesting ways. So check out their video and subscribe. Be sure to tell them Garyx sent you.